Hi, I'm Georgia Richardson. I'm from Worcester and I'm currently Midlands Young Designer of the Year. So I spent 3 years at university, and in the first 2 years you're really exploring the way in which you design and finding an aesthetic which you think is your own. So by the time I got into third year I really knew the kind of collection I wanted to create, and when I got my inspiration from Michael Sandel's sculptures and also car engines, it gave me a great basis of a narrative which was of a woman who protects and empowers herself through strong sculptural armour. So that was really the basis of my whole collection. It was about a woman who was confident and empowered and everything that I believe a woman should be, which is I think how I design with a woman in mind. So my brand is called Fourth Generation, and it's inspired by the fact that I'm the fourth generation of dressmakers within my family. And the brand is a handmade, made-to-measure dress range, which is sold online. Website is launching February the 1st. That's really exciting. And it's all about the customer being the designer, really. I always had loads of my friends say to me, you're so lucky because you get to see something and just design it exactly how you want it and make it. So it's allowing the customer to be able to do more of that for themselves. I've designed dresses, but people get to pick the fabric they'd like it to come in from the fabric range. They can pick the length, the fit, the sleeve length. So all those little things that make it unique and I think make it more exciting than just going to a high street store and getting something that everybody else has. And at the moment I'm doing a lot of things with one-off fabrics, so maybe only 2 dresses will be made out of that fabric, which I think is really exciting for girls to know that they're out and maybe only one other person in the world has that dress on. So I think people really appreciate it and enjoy it, hopefully. So I applied for the Midlands Fashion Awards back in January. I'd seen a friend of mine had won the makeup award last year, so that's how I'd heard about it, and thought that it would be a great way to publicise my collection and get my name out there. So I was just really lucky that I got picked. We had to apply with some photos of our final collection and a statement about ourselves. And the day was just absolutely fantastic. It was hard work. We were there all day setting up and going through rehearsals. And we also had to do a presentation to a panel of judges, which, although it was really nerve-wracking, was actually really enjoyable. Being able to speak about our collection and everything that inspired us. And that's how they picked who would win, alongside watching the fashion show as well. And I think for any designer, seeing your collection on a runway is probably the ultimate goal. You know, you feel so happy seeing it completed and walking down. Anything that went wrong, you just don't really care about. So that was really exciting, and then to obviously get chosen as Young Designer of the Year was amazing. I was so shocked, and since it's been such a good platform, not just for me but I think for all of the designers who were included, to get your name out there and get yourself noticed. And so since winning at Midlands Fashion Awards, it's been great. I've been contacted by a lot of magazines and for interviews and photo shoots. I've just recently done a photo shoot for Style Birmingham, which was part of the prize, which was really interesting. And I think if you put the effort into contacting people and telling them, you know, you were in these awards or you won these awards, you get such a great response. I've been really shocked by that, of how many people have wanted to speak to me because of that. So it's been great publicity, and I've been able to talk about my university collection but also talk about my new business, which has been really helpful. So for this collection in particular, I've really been inspired by women and what they like to wear, what I see women wearing on a day-to-day basis, I've done a lot of market research through my friends and family, and asking them what colours they would like, what necklines they would like, what styles they would prefer to wear. So I'm hoping that in this collection there really is a dress for everyone and a style for everyone, all different fabrics, so it's not just limiting itself to one kind of person. I get inspired a lot by other designers because I would love to be able to afford some of the clothes that they produce, but I can't. So I think that's something that I really keep in mind, is looking at dresses and thinking I'd love to be able to wear that, and then making it at a much cheaper price. So hopefully if I'm having this problem, other people are having it as well, so I can help them. So this is called the Betty dress. It was actually the first dress that I designed for the collection and has been the most successful in sales at the moment. And I think it really works because I wasn't able to find this style of dress on the high street at the time I designed it, and I looked everywhere and I couldn't find it. So I thought, okay, if I can't, nobody else can. So what I think has worked for this dress is the fact that it can be versatile, so you can change the length of sleeve and the length of the dress. I've sold this to 60-year-old women and I've sold it to 18-year-old women. So I think the dress can be changed in so many different ways that it can be worn by any age, any type of woman, any size, any kind of style, which I think works. So I discovered in university that I actually work in quite a backwards way. I've always struggled with my drawing, and at university the tutors said to me that you work much better in 3D. So I use that as my strength now, and rather than drawing and trying to work out how to make it, I will just physically start somewhere, even if it's just draping on a stand or cutting out fabric. And my other main source of inspiration and design comes from fabric. So I'm always looking in fabric stores and collecting fabrics. And when I see a fabric, I can usually picture a dress there and then in my head of what I'm going to make. So I think all designers work in different ways. Some prefer to draw first, make first. So I think you just have to learn what's best for you and work on your strengths. Somebody that I would really like to work with is Diane von Furstenberg, not only because of her fantastic designs and her influence in the fashion world, but because of her ethos about what a woman should be. She really believes that women should be confident, their own person, empowered, which was a lot to do with my collection. So I think working with her not only could inspire me a lot fashion-wise, I think it'd be really interesting to see how she could change you as a person, and I just think she'd be so interesting, and some of the things she says, some of her quotes, I really resonate to. So she says sometimes, one of her quotes is, "Be in charge of your own life." And I always think that's just a really nice thing. A lot of people look at fashion design, especially as a university degree, as something that's easy. The amount of times I've had people say to me, "Oh, do you just cut and stick every day?" Which, okay, that is a lot of what you do, but it's not everything, that's definitely for sure. And I would say that from what I've seen, designers, fashion designers, the creative industry is really, really hard and takes a lot of effort. And to try and be creative 24/7 is probably one of the hardest things. People don't see what goes on behind the scenes. So, for example, with my dresses, I can create a dress in a day easily, but it may take me 2 months before that dress is actually perfect. And I think that's really overlooked, especially with the fast-paced fashion industry that is today. Everything's been churned over constantly. People forget about all the hard work that goes in from right at the very beginning, so picking your fabric, to the finishing of the garment. I think the direction of fashion often goes round in circles, and although at the moment we're seeing fast fashion, throwaway fashion, constant changing trends and people just buying and disposing of their clothes, I would hope and I think that the trend will be to invest in your clothing more at some point. I mean, my mum shows me clothes now that she's had since she was 18. She used to create her own clothes, and I think that's all been lost. Almost the uniqueness of fashion is slowly being lost. But I think that will change, you know, as every fashion. I mean, my mum always says people wear leggings now and they used to wear that however many years ago. So I think that the change in fashion will come when people are more unique and want different things.